here's the one in Amos, all right? And there's the phrase up there. Now, do you use that over here much in Australia? This comes up a lot in the United States, where people that are involved, for example, in unity discussions, especially brethren that aren't very happy with the way things are going, they'll write out these letters, they'll send them out to the community, and they'll put on the top of the letter, can two walk together unless they be agreed? And it's usually applied from the concept of unity. And that's the way that they use the passage. They pull it out of Amos and use this phrase about, well, can we all walk together unless we be agreed? Within the context of like a fellowship discussion or something like that. I don't know. Do you guys even use this passage over here? Maybe that's the problem with a class on bloopers, is that the bloopers in the United States may be totally different than the bloopers over here. But that's the way it's sometimes used. Now, when you look at the passage within the context, though, why does God say this through Amos? What is he actually after? Now, we just read those first 8 verses right there. What do you think this is all about? Can two walk together unless they are agreed? Now, look at the context of this. You got to do a little work tonight. You actually have to read and think. And so this is good. You look at context of a passage and try to figure out what's going on. So, verse 2, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities. So here's some mistakes then that he's looking at that the community was making. And then he starts off with, can two walk together unless they are agreed? And then all of these flow as one context. So look at what he's going after. Will a lion roar in the forest when he has no prey? These are almost like rhetorical questions that you ask. Would a lion be out there roaring in the forest if he didn't have anything to eat? Would he roar? Well, maybe if you walked in front of him, he would. But I mean, they're like a rhetorical question that when you hear the lion roaring, it's because he's going after his food. All right? Will a young lion cry out of his den if he's caught nothing? Will a bird fall into a snare on the earth when there's no trap for it? I mean, these are all rhetorical questions, and what they are is they're all cause and effect questions. Will this happen unless this event is occurring simultaneously? And they're all looking at cause and effect. You don't get this unless this has happened first. All of them are all the way down the line. If a trumpet is blown in a city, will not the people be afraid? The people are going to be afraid if the trumpet's actually blown. And if there's a calamity in the city, will not the Lord have done it? So now he's working his way into what he's trying to get them to understand. So the context in Amos 3 was all about the fact that, look at, when God brings the problems on you, when he brings the army down from the north and he surrounds your area and destroys the city, is this going to be just a random event? Or is this going to be because you, of all the families of the earth I have known, therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities? So if that's the case, what do you think that means if can two walk together unless they are agreed? Anybody got a modern version on that? Something a little different? What have you got in your version?
The two walk together unless they have agreed to do so.
Unless they have agreed to do so. Okay, that's not bad. Anybody else got one? Any other ones out there?
The two walk together unless they have agreed to meet.
Unless they have agreed to meet. All right, now what people think is the context of this. Do two walk together unless they have made an appointment? Now, the context of where this is coming from is this cause and effect issue. So that, imagine you were out there and you're just walking down a road in the old days when they had pathways, or if we were out on our hike the other day, and all of a sudden you're just out there walking through the land and two people tend to meet up as they're walking down a road. And his point is that, look, it's very unlikely that two of you are going to come together on different roads and you're going to kind of come together and meet unless you have set a date and a time and a place at which you are going to agree. This is really what the passage actually meant. Do two people come together on roads and meet at a certain place unless you have set a date and a time and a place? There's some kind of cause and effect that's actually involved here. It's really nothing about fellowship issues. It's really nothing about doctrinal positions and things like that. It was a cause and effect passage to try to make people think, when this happens, this is going to happen because God has set things into motion, and he is the one who is responsible for the events that we're going to come upon the community. It was really nothing about our belief systems or anything like that, but that's the way the passage is sometimes used back in the United States and in Canada. We just throw that one around and use it from that perspective. Now,